Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Thanks for tuning in. Another Sunday. My God, do they just one after another. And yes, here we are again. And I'm glad you're joining me, because another week has gone by chock full of the type of nonsense, insanity, debauchery, and idiocy that we crave here on this program. Well, as I was saying, the No Kings protests were yesterday. Beautiful Saturday. It looked like for the majority of the big cities that were hosting these, the weather was pretty good. I saw a lot of video, a lot of people, and a lot of aerial shots. That's where the commonality between conservative Americans and whatever the hell these people were that I saw at the No Kings protests yesterday. That's where it ends. The very high elevated drone shots of giant parks or streets in these big cities. And then when you get down to street level, you realize, oh, these people are insane. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know why they're there. They have to dress up in ridiculous costumes also. Anytime, and boy, it is rare that you ever see conservatives marching for a cause. You just, you don't really see that. But I swear to you, you will not get people dressed in inflatable dinosaur costumes or dressed like various fruits and vegetables. I don't even get half of the stuff they're doing. A king, like no kings. Okay, so what do you dress like? You dress like someone from Old England, a serf, or a subject, or a court jester, perhaps? Anything that would have something to do with a monarchy and your displeasure with this prospect that Trump somehow is a king. We'll get into that, because that makes no sense either. But to watch some of these people and listen to them, oh, it is painful. Painful. And what really did they accomplish here? This is what they do all the time. They get together. These things are put together by organizations and people that are pretty high up in the world order. George Soros, the finger has been pointed at him many times for having sponsored these things. I mean, a lot of times these signs they're carrying are mass-produced. They're not these grassroots kind of homespun painted signs. Some of them are. I've seen those lunatics too. But these events seem very organized, very choreographed, You could get tens of thousands of people in cities from coast to coast. Something has to be done to organize something like that. So, and again, I don't see that being illegal. You could do that. But the truth of the matter is the people you get they don't know what they're out there for. They're not very good spokesmen for your cause. And anytime you see conservatives being to the point where they feel strongly enough about something to get out there and protest, or at least make themselves known in public, march, get together, they're very educated on what they want to talk about. They don't just show up not passionate about the cause and not knowing what they're there for. That's what these people do. More important than anything else to them are the numbers. They love saying tens of thousands showed up in Boston and Atlanta and Chicago had 100,000 people. And all they care about are the number of people. But who are they really getting? A lot of them are mentally ill people. They're mentally ill. They're social outcasts. They're attention whores. They're just looking for anything to do on a Saturday afternoon except sitting alone in their home. This gives them some purpose, even if it's not a purpose they really care about. It's something. Oh, good, I can hang around people. I can talk and not just be told to shut up the second I open my dumb yap. So, those are the people you're getting. You're getting quantity, but not really quality. And when they say, this is democracy, this is America, and they tried to paint this as some patriotic thing, because you rarely see lefties carrying American flags. And this, too, was very choreographed and very done in a way that was very obvious. They wanted this, whoever the grand poobah is to this latest protest. I think it must have been discussed that, hey, we got to make this seem patriotic. And this is about America. This isn't about something that, we've had trouble trying to shove in people's faces, like men and women's sports and having drag queen story time and no bail, so criminals are running around our streets. Deportations, that's another thing. And there were plenty of them there, but I didn't see a lot of Mexican flags like you see during the ICE protests. So they were trying to BS everybody into saying, all right, this is America. Look at us. We're the patriots. We're the patriotic Americans. We stand for the Constitution and the rule of law. And they're walking around with American flags, and they do not care one bit about the traditions of America. Anything that had made America great over the course of the years, they don't care. Not only do they not care, they despise it. They hate America and what it was. They've been trying to change America and our value system and our ideals and things that we hold dear. They've been trying to get those things canceled for quite some time now. And now with the No Kings protest, we're supposed to just forget all that and believe that these are amongst the most patriotic, America-loving people you'll ever see. It's so ham-handed and obvious that they're just phonies, liars, chameleons. They try to mutate into whatever form they think the people want to see. Or fortunately for us, we're not that open to to their nonsense, and we don't see it and go, oh, maybe they are what America is all about. We're not that easily manipulated. We consider things, we think about things, we look at situations, and we're not easily manipulated. We don't have the wool pulled over our eyes very easy like they do. They're a collection of sheep, dumb sheep, and they're able to be manipulated into whatever the powers that be at the time need them to be. So these are the same people we saw recently throwing things at law enforcement, holding America or Mexican flags, burning American flags. And then they're told, oh, this time we're Americans. We'll show you what democracy in America is all about. So then they tell them that, and they go, oh, okay. So I burn this? No, dummy. You hold it up on a flagpole and you praise it. Yeah, but I was just burning it. Yeah. That was like 2 weeks ago. This time now you got to be happy about it. You love it. And you walk around with the American flag. Oh, okay. I think I got it. And who doesn't see it? How dumb do you have to be to not see what they're doing? This was because they want to show how effective protesting is. And protesting, of course, is one of our God-given rights as Americans. And in order to do it, especially on a large scale like this, you have to let everyone watching you protest. You have to let them believe that you believe in things like the First Amendment and your freedom to protest and to congregate and to speak out against the government. Meanwhile, every other protest they've had has been completely against what the Constitution stands for and what our rights actually are. So again, they're chameleons, they're shapeshifters, whatever they need for that day. They'll put the word out and their useful idiots will show up and perform like the marionettes that they are. All right, I see the phones are loaded. We got plenty to talk about as far as this goes and other things. So don't you go anywhere. I'm warning you. Hey, I'm warning you, Mo. We'll be right back with more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is. The Anthony Cumia Show. And talking about the No Kings protest. Uh-oh. I'm sure it really shook up Donald J. Trump and his cabinet and supporters. I don't know. A lot of people, I saw a lot of coverage, a lot of people saying they're making a difference, they're getting out, they're doing something. Finally, they felt like they were actually contributing and making a difference with all those people that showed up on Saturday afternoon yesterday. So I don't know. I'm down here in South Carolina. I don't know. Maybe things changed after this event. So I went to the only person I can really trust these days. X has an AI called Grok. So I went to Grok and I asked Grok, I said, hey, Grok, it's the day after the No Kings protest. Who is the president of the United States? And Grok, without missing a beat, Donald Trump is currently the president of the United States on October 19th, 2025. He was inaugurated for his second non-consecutive term as 47th president on January 20th, 2025, after winning the 2024 election. This makes him the second U.S. president to serve two non-consecutive terms following Grover Cleveland in the 1880s and 1890s. So, yeah, I guess it didn't do anything. He's still in charge. What did they think? What did they hope to accomplish with this? Because It's like no kings. Well, Trump isn't a king. I mean, you have to be a complete moron to think he's a king, and he's trying to be a king. Everything he's done, he has talked about during his campaign. These were campaign promises. He is he won every swing state. Do kings have to do that? Win swing states? He won the popular vote. He won the electoral college vote, and he became the president for the second time. And they just don't like what he's doing, so they can't imagine he's the president. He can't be. We vote for president, and we don't like what this guy's doing, so he must not be the president. They live in such a bubble, and they see these protests. And if you see 10,000 people in a city, you have this misconception that the entire country must think like you and this group think, because it's such a huge crowd. They're very short-sighted, and they're stupid. So they don't quite understand that there's a lot of people in this country, and a lot of people that don't go out into the streets and into parks and voice their opinions. They live their lives, and they vote during elections, and they hope for the best. And for Trump supporters, 2024, him winning was the best case scenario. And they just can't imagine that happen. He must be a king, because I don't like what he's doing. Well, sorry. That is the way things work. John Legend, the wonderful John Legend, said Trump voters are regretting their decision to vote for Trump. And again, this is the same nonsense we'll hear, because they see these giant crowds of people around the country, not realizing that the people that voted for Trump dwarf these crowds of people. But John Legend is another one of these idiots, and he looks and goes, oh, it looks like Trump voters are regretting their decision to vote for Trump. Maybe Dave Smith. I know Dave Smith, and he said he regrets voting for and pushing for Donald Trump. Other than him, I don't know one person in my circle of people and the people that I communicate with on social media that have said, oh boy, I'm regretting my decision to vote for Trump. It's not happening. But again, this bubble vision that they have, when you're standing in a giant crowd of insanely dressed lunatics, you kind of get caught up in it and believe the hype. But that's not the case. And again, I'll get back to what did they accomplish? Well, they got an afternoon out. Like I said, the weather looked nice. And they hung around with like-minded idiots, showed their signs. They felt for a moment like they were doing something, making a difference. And, yeah, that's it. And then where does it go? Like, what happens the day after the No Kings rally? Well, we all go back to our ways, and it was just like it was like one of those No Nukes concerts years ago. Yeah, we're going to do something, and then you're like, meh. Or are you? They actually were more effective. There aren't many nuclear power plants in this country. But I don't think it was from the hippies and Jackson Brown yelling about nuclear facilities. I think 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl may have had a say in the matter. But it is like those things. But the difference is, when you look at what people protested years ago, it was something that a national outcry might change. What is this? Like, saying Trump's a king when he's not a king, what is that accomplishing? And then what's your next step? Are you trying to get him out of office? You tried that his entire first term. And then in between, you tried to get him arrested, convicted, which you did, and then imprisoned, which thank God didn't happen. And then this time, you're taking every step you can to prevent him from doing the job he was elected to do. This isn't protesting something like the war, man, or no nukes, man. You know, there are and there were nuclear power plants and plans to build nuclear power plants back in the 70s and 80s. And people protested it. They didn't want, I lived on Long Island. I remember they wanted to build the Shoreham nuclear power plant. And every week there was some protest. And Central Park, they'd have the No Nukes concert with all the tree-hugging fruits would come out and play. And but there were nuclear power plants, and people didn't like them, and they didn't want them in their neighborhoods, and they protested. But so what is this? There isn't a King Trump. He isn't breaking laws with his policies. He's hurting your feelings. And they feel like that's enough to go out and protest when there's no end game to it. The end game to Vietnam protesting that was to end the war. And America was very tired of the war. And Nixon knew, I can't win an election on continuing this war. And the people had, a say in the matter in their protesting. No nukes. I just talked about what that was. These were real things. Trump's meme with a crown on his head and that big red king cloak isn't real. He's not a king. So protesting isn't doing anything. But they're idiots. They're imbeciles. They'll go out there and feel like they're making a difference. On the other side of the break we're going to take here is some of the people, some of the No King's foot soldiers that took to the fields and the streets, and they are questioned by some journalists out there why they're protesting, what they hope to achieve, what has Trump done to anger them. So these are great. Stick around for that. Back in a moment with more of the show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. We're talking about, the No Kings protests and rallies that happened over the weekend, yesterday, actually. And let's go to the phones, see what the people think about it. Tony, Clifton, New Jersey. What's up, Tony?
Hi, Anthony. I love your show. I love your pro-America. It really warms my heart. So talking about the bubble, being in a bubble, it was a beautiful day yesterday, and I headed toward Upper Montclair. I'm in Clifton, and I see this scruffy-looking ragamuffin senior, and I can say it because I'm a senior, all scruffy signs saying no kings. And I was headed to the bank, and I thought, what a great way to ruin the day, just a slap on the street with a stupid sign. And you know what I thought, Anthony? I thought they're definitely stuck in a time warp. They have no identity of their own. They exaggerate numbers, like you say. Here's one little lost soul looking awful. And what was she thinking? Was she trying to say King George? If you mean King George, then say King George.
Right.
If you mean no Martin Luther King, say no Martin Luther King. Is that who you mean? So it really was kind of pathetic. And it shows how the Democrats are picking from the Constitution. They're picking from history because they're stuck in the Civil War, we know. They haven't gotten over the Civil War. And obviously they haven't gotten over King George the third. So is that who you mean? King George? That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. No, Tony, you definitely make a good point. And also, I noticed something just when you were saying that. We will look at those people and actually feel bad for them. Like you look at someone like that and think, wow, you're ruining your afternoon. You're kind of pathetic. You use the word pathetic and everything. That's how we see them and talk about them. Meanwhile, if you were going to something patriotic that you were passionate about and you were wearing an American flag hat or a MAGA hat, God forbid, they wouldn't just look at you and go, oh, boy, what's this guy doing? You would be yelled at, called out for it, and possibly even assaulted for your take on it. That really shows the difference between the two Americas that are going on right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And what do they stand for? Transgender, pro-Hamas, pro-illegal, pro-crime, and this is what they're standing their stupid no king's flag for. Thanks, Anthony. Great
over
show.
The place. Thank you, Tony. They're yeah. Oh, wait. Can I get that off of there? Oh, you got to click the continue button on my phone screen. That silly continue thing. Don't worry, Tony. We'll get ready in a second. Don't fret. There we go. All right. Hey, take another call though, because a lot of people want to hear about this. Again in New Jersey, Jay from Jersey. What's up, my friend?
Hey, Anthony. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
You know, I heard an interesting. I was listening to Fox on Friday, and I heard Greg Gutfeld say that you cannot spell no kings without no kin, because a lot of these people simply have no family. And, you know, I think that their barren personal lives are definitely reason to be caught up in such a moronic kind of ideology. And aside from that, you know, besides for indoctrinating these, you know, poor people with their hate-filled ideology, you also have the crazy people that are mobilized under their clear directives, and they're told to go hurt people and hurt conservatives, and they actually do that. And I strongly believe that the Democrats in power know this, and they're doing it on purpose. And that, to me, is the biggest threat. You cannot have a one political party actively calling for the killing of ICE agents, for the killing of conservatives, that's what's happening.
Yeah, that's what we've seen. I mean, there's a video of it. It's up there. It's out there for people to see. Calling for ICE agents to be dispatched by violent means, and they're happy about it. They don't even say it covering their face or they're embarrassed by what they're saying, and they get cheers from the crowds in front of them. And then when they're called out for their violent rhetoric, perhaps being responsible for some of the violent acts and even murders and assassinations we see, they can't imagine. They're, what are you talking about? You're the violent ones. You're the ones that are trying to incite violence and murder.
Yeah, Anthony, you heard Don Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
Don Lemon was what he said. You know your Second Amendment rights. If somebody comes to your door and they want to take you away, you should use your gun on them. And he's talking about ICE officers, and that's an open call to violence. And the fact that if he doesn't get investigated for that, I don't know what should be investigated. You know. Yeah,
and I don't know how much illegal immigrants are able to enjoy the Second Amendment right that we enjoy here in this country. I think you're going up or down the river. Down the river, I would believe. After crossing the river illegally, you're going down the river if you shoot at a ICE agent coming to your house to deport you if you're illegal. I don't know how much that Second Amendment's going to help you out. So, Jay, thank you so much. And let's play a couple of clips from these wonderful people, the boots on the ground for the No Kings protest. Here's a lady. This woman was dressed like a nut. She's in some flowing butterfly dress with big monarch butterfly wings material. And she's got a sign, and it's like, the only monarchs we want are butterflies. One of these butterfly nut women. And so this person decides to ask her a few questions about what she's doing there, and here's her response.
What has President Trump done to make him a monarch?
He started to take control and do illegal things and that are not within his power. So that's pretty much what makes a person a monarch. They take complete control even though they shouldn't have it.
What illegal things has he done?
Come here.
So she calls a friend over to help her.
What illegal things? Everything that he has done except for get elected. Every single thing since he's gotten into office.
So deporting illegal immigrants, is that illegal?
Deporting illegal immigrants, if they're here peacefully, yes.
If they're illegally here, though, if they came illegally?
If they came here illegally? I believe we're a country that stands for Lady Liberty. It said, give me your tired, your, give me everybody you can possibly bring into the United States, and it doesn't say ship them back out. It says welcome.
Awesome. Any other issues, any issues in particular that you really disagree with Trump on?
No, because you're just baiting me. Have a nice day.
Oh, no.
I was just asking.
You're baiting me. See, they get so frustrated because they're so dumb. They're so uninspired by what they're doing. It's based purely on emotion, and their motives are so they could tell their friends and their children, guess what I did? It's a lot of old people. This movement is jam-packed with old people. Remember things like Occupy Wall Street? It was a bunch of young people camping out in New York City by Wall Street. And they're usually, Black Lives Matter was a younger movement with both white and black young people rioting, looting, assaulting people, if we remember. This one is so odd. They've just emptied the retirement homes and the hospice centers, and they got these old bags to carry signs and chant slogans, and they don't know what they're talking about. They have no idea what they're talking about. They're so out of touch with everything. But again, it's only numbers. All they want is to say thousands of Americans came out to show how unhappy they are with King Trump. And, it's nonsense. And then she starts trying to read the Statue of Liberty thing. Give us your tired, everyone. So if you're a little sleepy, her take is if you're anywhere in the world and you're dozing, you're a little sleepy, just come over here. Come here. What about wretched refuse? What happened to that one? So many people believe the plaque that was added to the Statue of Liberty much later is some legal binding document that somehow is tied in to our Constitution. It's not. It's a dumb plaque that they screwed on to Lady Liberty. Thanks, France. Thanks for that great gift. And they really think it has some type of legal status. All right, here's another one. This one, there's so many, and I could only get a few of them. But here's another one. No clue. A no kings, and I said it before, no kings, more like no clue. Here's the protester. Let's just listen. The stories tell themselves.
No King's Day.
And why specifically are you out supporting No King's Day?
I think protest is important.
Why are you protesting?
How much time do you have?
A couple minutes.
Hey.
And what's the main reason you're out here protesting President Trump?
I agree with a lot of the decisions that are being made.
Oh, okay.
Is there any decision in particular you disagree with?
So I would start with, I don't even think it's appropriate for me to have this interview.
So what brings you out today?
That fit the bill. Whenever I watch these, it's like it's scripted. They walk up, a guy will interview one of these idiots, ask them a question, and then they won't give an answer. So the guy's got to kind of dig a little deeper. Oh, I think protesting is very important. Okay, that's an answer. She feels protesting is an important thing that we do here in this country. All right. Why are you protesting then? Like in this instance, why did you decide to come down for this? Oh, well, I don't agree with a lot of his policies. What policy? How much time you got? That is the same as so many, oh my God, where do I start? If I got to explain it to you, then you don't know because there's so many. Or what she says, oh God, how much time you got? There's so many. All they're ever asking for is one. Give me one example. And they are incapable of coming up with a single thing. It's embarrassing. It's hilarious. And it really is so common with these people. I honestly don't believe I've ever heard one person out of any of these protests, the ones I talked about earlier, Black Lives Matter, all these protests. I don't think I've heard one protester speak in a reasonable civil tone to the person interviewing them and have some type of rational, well thought out, articulate response to a question. They run away and, they try to blame the person asking questions. They're baiting them. You're trying to trap me or trick me into saying something. Are you that stupid? By the way, yes, the answer is absolutely yes, they are. But to blame the person with the microphone asking you took it upon yourself to leave your house, give up a day of whatever you were going to do. Can't imagine it was anything fun. And come down, and you can't come up with one reason why you're actually there. What impassioned you to go out to join up with this crowd of people and add your body to these numbers? They cannot tell you. They do not know why they're there. They're there for the hangout. It's like, who was that, Tony before saying that on the phone? It's people that don't have anything to do. They feel alienated. They're outcasts. Their families have disowned them unless their whole family are mentally ill libs like them. But you don't really see that. Every family has a couple of them, but it's very rare that you'll see an entire family of lunatic lefties like this. And they're made fun of by their family. They're kind of outcasts. They bring them in. We had a couple of them at our family dinners over the course of the years, kind of hippie-ish back in the 70s. And then in the 90s, it was something else. And, they sit down for dinner at the table, and you got me. I'm not going to keep my mouth shut about social issues. And my Uncle Tony and my brother Joe. And we're just going off and laughing our asses off. And they are horrified at what we're saying. They can't sit there. And then we want them to talk. Like, please tell us another one of your funny liberal ideological stories. So, they're the ones that self-alienate. They exile themselves from anybody with an ideology that isn't theirs. And it's even worse if it's a more conservative ideology. So they're lonely. They're lonely. And then they see these events that they can go to. And while they don't really know anything about the event or the issues behind this event, they just want to be part of something. Because they're, for the rest of the days of the year, they're social outcasts. And it's an interesting social experiment to watch. I'll give you that. But other than that, it's sad. And we can look at it with pity, because I think we do. When you see some of these people, especially the dumb old boomers, it's very easy to just go, oh, look at this jackass. Look at this dummy. He's in his little condo in the Villages. That's one they point at all the time in Florida, the Villages. And all it reminds me of is Del Boca Vista from Seinfeld. The old people, they all go to Del Boca Vista. And, they get him out and they're wearing crowns on their head because somebody organizes this and decides they're going to put little crowns on their heads and give them signs. They're not at their little retirement villages community painting the signs. They hand them out. And they're happy. Oh, my God, they couldn't be happier to be let out into the wild one more time with their walkers and their hurricane with the headlight and their catheters and their hearing aids, and they walk out of these places with a mission, a purpose, to meet people that they don't know, that won't turn their backs and tell them to shut up. It's the greatest thing. But is that doing anything for the cause? Of course it isn't. For all of them, it's a day out where the public at large isn't calling them dumb, telling them to shut up, shunning them, giving them a wide berth on the sidewalk. They get to feel like they're normal for a day, like their beliefs and how they express themselves are actually normal and accepted in society. But that society is a giant group of nuts just like them. It's a fantastic expose of when you put enough mental patients in one spot, how they react to each other in their total belief that they're all normal. And then we look in and go, let me take a look. Oh, yeah, they're all crazy. They're all crazy and should not be engaged in public. All right. Oh, my goodness gracious. Plenty more where that came from. Stick around. The Anthony Cumia Show continues.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Let's go right to the phones. Norman over there in Brooklyn. What's up, Norman?
Yeah, hi, Anthony. Okay, I'm the flip side of these lefty protesters. I took part for 4 years when the world fell apart in 2020. I took part in a lot of anti-mandate protests to, so that I could go to a bar. Well, first to go to a bar,
right,
and then second to go to a bar without having to show my papers,
right.
And then and that progressed to drag queen story hour in public libraries for children protests.
Yep.
And I also took part in pro-life protests. And anyway, if you would ask any member of the group, New York Freedom Rally, if you had asked any of them why they're there, they would tell you quite eloquently the reason they were there.
Right.
It was, and yet, and this is the point I'm making. Yet, when I turn on the media, the legacy media, none of them would report on rallies that I took part in that were, sometimes we had only a few hundred.
Right.
But always had, I would say, at least 500 people, but could go up to 8,000 or 10,000 people. Okay. We had this one, which the police unions took part in because they were going to fire all
Well,
these
the media
cops
obviously wasn't going to
take...
cover it. That's not their agenda, so they weren't going to cover it.
Right, it's not their agenda. So when I turned on ABC News last night, not because I was watching ABC News, but because I wanted to watch Alabama, Tennessee, and I hear Joe Torres talk about the No Kings rally. Mm-hmm. He said there were 100,000 people in the Manhattan rally, 100,000 people. I am telling you, Anthony, as somebody who has helped organize some rallies, who has taken part in rallies, to include the big one on January 6th, in which we had anywhere from I didn't organize it, but took part in anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million people. I can tell you that a rally in New York City, in Manhattan, with 100,000 people, which is what they said on the news, would shut Manhattan down.
Yeah, that's absolutely was not 100,000 people.
No,
Norman,
you maybe 5,000 people.
You got to finish up here so we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my point.
All right.
So.
Well, thank you, Norman. People get a little wordy. What are you going to do? Let's play a little Adam Schiff. Adam Schiff. This guy, I mean, traitor. He's done things over the course of the years. The lying that came out of the Russiagate thing. His talking about the indisputable evidence against Donald Trump, Russian collusion, and, nothing. They give him a little now, naughty, But will he face any real consequence? This is the indictment I really want to see. Adam Schiff. But here he is on the No Kings, whatever it was.
So I'm here for No King's Day, watching all these thousands and thousands of people marching, protesting, speaking out, saying we will have no kings, fighting for our democracy. And as I was just saying with my colleague Cory Booker, this is what democracy looks like. It looks like all of you. It looks like millions of people around the country coming together, speaking out, saying we are going to defend our way of life, our democracy. We will never allow a dictator in this country. So thank you, America, for showing up in such big numbers today and speaking out. As one of the signs here today said, silence is compliance. And I would say silence is complicity. We have to all speak out. We have to defend this incredible legacy we've been given by our parents and grandparents. So thank you for coming out here today. Thank you, all over America, for speaking out.
Pencil neck geek. He was, reading off the script, which was, democracy. This is what democracy looks like. The chants. How you get a bunch of Muppets together to chant. You got some head moron with a bullhorn and your Muppet dummies repeating everything you say. What a weak-willed person to do something like that. What a group, dumb group mentality thing to do. But Adam Schiff, this is what they do. This is what democracy looks like. This is people, Americans, defending now they're all for America. And again, no kings. There isn't a king. They're protesting and asking for something that isn't there anyway. We want no Martians in Congress. No Martians. No congressional Martians. That's what we're protesting. Yeah, there aren't any. Yeah, well, because I'm American, I believe in no Martians. Cory Booker. Here's another one. Cory Booker. Let's watch a little Cory. Or listen to Cory.
This is amazing. We've got more than 250,000 people already, and I can see it's growing. We're out here today to really just say that Donald Trump, his authoritarian tendencies, what he's trying to do is absolutely wrong. We have a nation right now where people, their ability to meet their everyday needs grow more and more difficult, and we have a president that doesn't seem to care. Frankly, just continue corruption. That's all about his
what corruption?
Pockets. This is wrong. It has to be about everyday Americans.
What's wrong? What is he doing like a king? You just don't agree with what a legally elected president is doing. That doesn't make him a king. It makes you a whiny crybaby that doesn't understand the type of system we have here in America. Oh, my God. So much more. We got calls. We got other clips to play. And after the top of the hour break, we will be back with more of the show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price, 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price, 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com. Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price, 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, starting up the second hour of the Anthony Cumia Show. Glad you could join us. Been talking about the No Kings rally and protest and what the hell they're protesting. God knows. There isn't a king. Trump is not a king. He's lawfully executing the policies that he ran on. This is what he's doing. And once again, the liberals show that they are an emotional bunch who have no clue how to deal with situations where they are not being spoiled rotten. If it's not going their way, something must be wrong. Something must be illegal. There must be something we can do about it. No. Sit down and shut up. Remember that feeling? The back seat of the car your dad's driving. Mom's in the front seat. They're probably arguing. And you're just mouthing off back there about something that you want. I want the... And then your dad just turn around and go, shut up. Sit down there. Be quiet. And you're like, because you're a kid. You're just packed with emotion. You don't have the potential. You don't have the brain power to go, all right, he's driving. I'm being really annoying. He's having a problem with mom over here. Maybe it's not the best time for me to start spouting off my wants and needs and desires. And, hey, shut up. As a kid, it's frustrating. And then you grow up and you're supposed to anyway, realize that, sometimes you just got to deal with things that if they're not going your way. But they're incapable of this. oh, Donald Trump is doing things I don't like, so it must be illegal. It must be he's a king. He's this. Just shut up. No, he'll be president for 3 more years, and I hope he continues doing what he's been doing, especially as far as illegal immigration goes. Immigration, because Biden and his administration opened the door. You want to blame someone? Blame Biden. Trump's just cleaning up the mess he made, and he's the bad guy. But, yeah, there are a couple of more clips I wanted to get to really fast, and then we'll wrap up the No Kings thing. Here's the old boomers. These are 2 old boomers, husband and wife, I guess. They've gone through all the they watch like Fox News and they buy everything on the commercials, all of the old people stuff. The insurance, I don't want to talk about that. Did you hear about Bob and Betty? Why, what happened? Well, Bob is gone. What will Betty do? Hi, I'm with the whatever insurance company. They're such depressing commercials. Or, when I use a catheter, oh, jeepers. So here's the old boomers. They are a huge part of this No Kings thing and a lot of the current anti-Trump protests. They're emptying out those retirement homes. It's a retirement community. Yeah, so listen to their old boomers' take on No Kings.
Well, there's a lot of reasons we're out, but largely because we are ashamed of our government right now. Why? And we are deeply concerned about what's happening in the United States. And so we thought there's no more, powerful antidote to what's happening than our voice. So here we are.
I'm a disabled vet, and I think institutions have made our country great, and right now our institutions are being destroyed, and if something isn't done to save them pretty soon, we may never get them back again.
What institutions? Like, what is he talking about? The institutions that made America great are being torn down? What? You mean the waste, the redundancy and waste? And especially in the past 4 years where the Biden administration handed out federal jobs and programs and facilities like the Veterans Administration were jam-packed with federal workers. 5 people for every job 1 person can do, or more than that. And then Trump gets in, they take a look around and go, woofa, we could save a lot of money here. And then the dummies on the left say, oh, look, he's dismantling the Veterans Administration. No, he's getting rid of the incredible waste, the money that isn't going to the veterans. It's going to redundant jobs so that Biden at some point could go, look at our jobs. Make a good wage. Good job for good wage. And when Trump and his people saw that, they go, yeah, and that's not just the Veterans Administration. That's everything. So when he starts cutting back on the waste, these boomers, they watch CNN and MSNBC and they go, oh, no, he's cutting programs like Medicaid and Medicare. Yeah, he's cutting the work staff that is draining these programs of their budget. But, they don't know. They're old. They're not computer savvy. They're out of touch as far as what's really going on in the world. And they're very easily manipulated by mainstream media. They still think mainstream media is news. They think it's honest. They think it's Huntley Brinkley and Walter Cronkite. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this evening. Donald Trump is a king. They still think that's what mainstream media is. because they're old, and it's painful to think that something you believed in so much for all your life was a lie. It's easier to just push it out of the way and go, no, it wasn't, and I'm going to still fight for, whatever lie they were telling you. So it's sad. Again, we look at them and we pity and we think it's sad. They look at our take on things and they want to kill us. So good luck with all that. And then one more. Here's a Connecticut Representative Rosa DeLoro talking about no kings. Let's listen to Rosa.
Let me cheer on SEIU. Thank you for all that you do and all that you have done and will do in the future. We count on you. Today is a critical day, an important day, to see millions and millions of Americans stand up and say, yes, we are no longer going to live with an administration that denies people their health care, their public education, their way of life, and we will have no kings in this country, and we will fight against that and make sure that we have an America that stands up for the middle class, the working class, and the vulnerable people of this country.
So again, it has nothing to do with a king. It's not a decree by the king to say we're not going to go with the Democrats' version of health care that they, by the way, tacked onto the government funding. So the government shutdown is definitely on their backs. They wanted to tag on these unbelievably costly and ineffective health care bills, some of which was being given to illegals. All these Democrat policies. They go, oh, well, he's not agreeing with them. He's not passing these bills. He's not backing these Democrat bills. So he must be a king. That's what we're living with. This is the country we're living in now. And again, they see these numbers. They just drag out as many people as they can. It doesn't matter if they know what they're out there for. If they're 100 years old, they bring their little kids with them and tell them to hold up signs that say F Trump on it, and they're 6 years old. And they say, wow, look how many people we got. But the numbers don't mean anything if these aren't people that are actually cognizant of what they're supposedly protesting. We don't have a king. No reason to protest kings. We don't have one. But, that's where we are. Hey, Chicago, I want to say hats off to the city of Chicago, Illinois. 18 shot, 4 killed this weekend. Amazing work. Amazing work for a city that, from what I hear, is fine. There's no problem. And the thought that Donald Trump would want to go in there with some type of solution to the violent crime problem. It's not a problem. I'm sorry. I shouldn't say problem because it's not a problem. That's what the mayor and the governor say, and, other politicians and residents. They say it's not a problem. 18 shot, 4 killed. Again, that ratio is a testament to the amazing trauma surgeons in these Chicago hospitals, because without them, the ratio, it would be a lot closer. 18 shot, 4 dead. You're looking at doctors and science that has progressed, experience with traumatic gunshot wounds. These doctors are astounding, and they're the ones saving lives. Not the politicians, that's for sure. Not Mayor Johnson, not Pritzker. They're doing everything in their power to make Chicago more dangerous for its citizens. Because politically, they don't want Trump to do anything to their cities. We got it. We're fine. 18 shot, 4 dead. Back in a flash with more of the show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and every week, I toil, I torture myself, I go through clips, I try to find out who qualifies as Clown of the Week.
The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Is it one of the usual suspects? Is it a Hollywood buffoon like Rosie O'Donnell? Is it a politician? Maybe. Not this week. This week we go to Cincinnati. And it is the police chief there, Teresa Thiege. Is that her name? She looks like a woman who has never, ever enjoyed the company of a man. This is very common in police chiefs in big cities. They seem to think that women who they enjoy the company of other women. And they have to be a little elderly. We're not looking for lipstick lesbians here. We are looking for an older gal, gray hair, cut in some form of mullet. And that seems to be what they go for these days in your big city police departments as police chief. So Cincinnati has had a problem with violence, with shootings and murders, and their downtown area. And if you know anything about Cincinnati and whatnot, they like having their downtown area for tourism because there isn't much going on in Cincinnati. So their downtown area, they like keeping it nice. And it's been known to pop off every so often. Some of the teens, the youth, they go out there and they're beating on people and stomping heads and shooting and what have you. But, boy, Teresa Thiege, if that's her name, if that's really her name, has a solution. And it seems so simple. Why haven't more people, especially lesbian police chiefs, thought of just doing this to solve the crime and violence problem? Let's listen to Police Chief Teresa.
And so my message to everybody, learn how to behave in our city, but especially learn how to behave in our downtown and our Fountain Square. And our officers will approach you if you start to behave disorderly on Fountain Square. Because these things sometimes start as a minor altercation and then evolve into something bigger. So do not come downtown, especially on Fountain Square, if you don't know how to behave.
Whoa. All right, I know. I'm going to give the audience here a time to take a breath because such a revolutionary tactic like that to combat violence in your city when you are the police chief is, my head's still spinning. Behave. Just say, hey, you. Get your damn hands off her. So behave, especially if you're going down to the downtown, the Fountain area. And if you don't, the police might approach you. Well, I got to give it up to Police Chief Teresa Thiege. As far as Cincinnati goes, problem solved. And that's why it's so odd that I decided to dub her Clown of the Week. Is that what we're down to? Just begging people to behave? Like mommy. Hey, behave. All right. Don't want to get in trouble. Do not want to get in trouble. There's your Clown of the Week, people. The other thing I wanted to get to, well, we saw the big mayoral debates, didn't we? Didn't we see those? The big debate, Zohran Mamdani, of course, Andrew Cuomo, and Curtis Sliwa duking it out on the debate stage, trying to show the citizens of New York City who would be best suited to be their mayor. And I've never seen somebody relegated to the kids' table as I saw Curtis Sliwa relegated to that position during this debate. It's like they had to let him on. But, you know, the people, the moderators, the candidates, they didn't want to give him anything. They didn't want to give him any time. Didn't want to hear from him. It's like, you know, Thanksgiving, all your aunts and uncles and maybe your grandparents at the big table, and you're relegated to that rickety little card table. We've all been there. We, you know, work our way up. But that's what it seemed like to me. And I'm sorry to say, it does seem like Mamdani is going to be your mayor. I don't know what to do. I saw something here. Who did this? This is, let me pull this up on my phone here. Yeah, someone here posted, and this is kind of what a lot of people in New York City are saying. The mayoral race, Mamdani is looking at 49%, Cuomo 28%, Sliwa 13%. The comment is Sliwa has less than half the projected votes as Cuomo. Why won't he drop out? That's the big thing. Why the hell won't he drop out? He's screwing it up. Why? Cuomo with 28% is going to win? If you put 13 to 28, oh boy, my math, 30, 40, 48, 1, 40, it's still not 49%. And then Maud Marin, she's running for Attorney General, I believe, in New York. She goes, even if every Sliwa voter voted for Cuomo, it doesn't mean victory. I'm as anti-Mamdani as they come, but it is time to stop telling Republicans to get out of their way of Democrats who can't win their primaries. Thank you. Nothing is stopping Cuomo from wooing Sliwa and Mamdani voters. What a great point. Why are Democrats yelling and screaming at Republicans? Please tell your candidate to drop out. Cuomo's the one that lost his primary. He's not the Democrat nominee. Mamdani is. And if the Republican candidate has to drop out to even give a sliver of a chance to the Dem candidate, why is that on the Republicans' backs? Why do the Republicans have to help out the Democrats who, like Maud Marin said, cannot win their own primary against this Mamdani guy? Look, it's going to hurt. It is going to hurt you bad, New York. But you got to learn. Your ass needs a SWAT on this one. Don't expect Republicans who are backing their nominee to just tell him, oh, drop out, Curtis. We need to help the Democrats. We need to help them. Elect the guy that couldn't even win his own primary against a communist Muslim. Can you do that and help us out? Why? Oh, by the way, do you think the Democrats would ever come to the aid of a Republican candidate? Hey, could you get your candidate to drop out so we can help the Republican get in? Ha! No way, ever, ever, ever. So New York, you know, apologies, but don't look at your Republican brethren for help. You screwed the pooch on this one. You nominated a communist Muslim. He's in the lead. He's going to win. And now you want to prop up your second-rate candidate? Good luck, New York. We love you. All right, coming back in seconds. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Former shock jock made good. God, I was a shock jock. That's embarrassing. A little bit. At least it was during the time of the shock jock. You know, back in the 90s when shock jockery was all the rage. But, you know, you look back and you age a little bit. You think about things a little differently. You're more concerned with world and national and even local issues than you are shoving a young woman into a 55-gallon drum and showering fish guts and whatnot upon her. Yeah. But damn it, I was a shock jock once. We're talking about the New York City election. The debate happened. And, you know, the Cuomo is just terrible. He is terrible. This is not a viable candidate. And people would say that about Curtis, but I like Curtis as far as his policies go. You know, some people think Curtis's personality or the fact that, you know, 8,000 years ago he was on the Guardian Angels, or, you know, don't wear the beret, which he didn't wear during the debates, or what is he like, cats? Yeah. First of all, like, isn't that a good thing to have sympathy and empathy for animals? And then if you don't like that, who cares? I don't think there's ever been an issue in New York City where a mayor had to choose between a kitten and the policies of the city that would help its people. So I don't think that really matters. But Cuomo, what a lemon this guy is. And Curtis wound up getting him a good one. Do you have that clip? I hope you do. The one where he kind of goes off on. Yeah. He tells Cuomo he's no Mario. That one's a good one. Let's play that.
You know, that's ironic that you say that now.
I'm sorry,
Andrew Cuomo, because when you were governor for 8 years, your parole board released 43 cop killers back into the street.
Okay,
your father, when he was governor, released none. I knew Mario Cuomo. You're no Mario Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo. You released cop killers. Don't say you're pro.
And you know what? Hey, moderator, shut up. You see where he's going. You see where the candidate in the debate is going. You've already not given this guy the respect he deserves on that stage. You relegated him to the kids' table. He's up there. He's making a point. He's talking about Andrew Cuomo and the fact that his policies have let cop killers out of prison. And, yeah, okay, we're moving on. Yeah, we get it. He'll wrap up. Let him make his point. And Andrew Cuomo was debating him as he was saying that, so they're kind of talking over each other a bit, but it was a two-man back and forth, which is what it should have been. Not some yenta blabbing in the background for Curtis to be quiet. Sorry, Mommy. Curtis has something to say. Oh, my God. That was really annoying. And, you know, the famous JFK quote back in the presidential election, the vice presidential debate, actually, is where that came from. But, yeah, let the guy get out what he's saying. These moderators, just like everyone else, everyone's an attention whore now. And you got these moderators that think they're the star of the show. People want to hear from the candidates. And if they're going over a little on time, adjust it by letting the other candidate go a little over on time. Not by yapping and trying to cut him off from what he's saying. And if you're too stupid to understand what point he's trying to make there, then that's your problem. You shouldn't be a moderator. Oh, was that annoying as all hell. Just annoying. So Mamdani here he is And they do this all the time. And it's not just Mamdani. It's every single Democrat when talking about the illegals who were invading this country through its southern border for years by the millions under the Biden administration. Every time this gets brought up, every time they're questioned about it, they will never say illegal. And that's a lie. It's a plain lie. Right in your face lie. These are not immigrants. There is a difference. It's like go into a bank, right? Write out a withdrawal slip. Go to the teller. I don't know who does this anymore, but go to the teller with the slip. You have an account at the bank. It's got adequate funds in the bank. And you take out $10,000. And they do all their checks and whatever they need to do. And then they hand you a stack of money. You say thank you and you walk out of the bank. Now there's a guy going into the bank. He's got a gun. He points it at the teller's face and says, give me $10,000. And she shakes and takes 10 grand out and gives it to him. And he runs out of the bank. Are those both just people making a withdrawal from the bank? Is that what it is? Or is one a bank customer making a withdrawal and the other one is a bank robber, an illegal withdrawal? That is the same effing thing as saying immigrant when you're talking about illegal immigrants. Donald Trump and his administration is not deporting and arresting, and ICE isn't rounding up immigrants. They are rounding up illegal immigrants. The word immigrant shouldn't even be in it. Illegal trespassers, American trespassers. They're trespassing on the United States illegally. So stop. And they all do this. They want to make it seem like Trump and his supporters and everyone, conservatives, people that are real patriots and want this country to be a great place, that they don't want immigrants. And believe me, that should be stopped too. Legal immigration. But that's a whole nother story. Let's just talk about the difference between legal immigration and illegal immigration. They cannot bring themselves to say illegal or in any way. They want to make it look like we all think immigration was, is, and will always be this terrible thing. We know damn well in history, immigration was very important to populating this country and building it up. We needed strong bodies to come here, but people that would assimilate to America and build an amazing nation, which did happen. This doesn't mean people that come over here for God knows what the reasons are. Their own country is a crap hole. We know that. They're being persecuted. They're unhappy. They want free stuff. But there is a process. And they want to make everyone believe that no matter what you're doing, if you're an immigrant going through the process, we still don't want you. And we'll deport you somehow. I don't know how that's done. They're saying that the liberals, the Democrats, they are the ones that say Trump is deporting American citizens. This is a great one. You hear it all the time. American citizens are being deported. Show me. Please show me one. Oh, and then they bring up the Maryland dad. What about Maryland dad? Oh, the gang member who was pulled over numerous times. I've seen the body cam footage from the cops with a carload of illegals transporting. He's a human trafficker. The Maryland dad. Oy. So here's Zohran Mamdani talking about how ICE is snatching immigrants off the street. Never once calling them illegal. Zohran, please.
Let me be clear. This is not a moment for capitulation. We are in a period of political darkness. Donald Trump and his ICE agents are snatching our immigrant neighbors from our city in broad daylight, right before our eyes. His authoritarian administration is waging a scorched earth campaign of retribution against any who dared oppose them, against the courts that dare hold them accountable, and against our trans and queer neighbors for simply daring to be themselves.
Boo. Meanwhile, Donald Trump and his ICE agents. Meanwhile, at the Justice... It's so insane. The scorched earth. They over-dramatize everything. And it's at this point, it's so embarrassing to listen to them. He's in front of these dimwits, and he knows anything he says, they'll applaud it. This is great, good. Well, we love Zohran Mamdani. So he could say anything. He's rounding up immigrants off the streets in broad daylight, scorched earth policy. Donald Trump and his ICE agents. It's a Batman episode. And, and they suck it up. The morons, the people in New York City that they don't understand that the city is a business and it needs to run like a business. Oh, God. It's infuriating. But one good thing, I'm just glad. I'm glad I don't have to deal with New York City anymore. Do you know I had to fork over like $500 in taxes to New York City? Not big. It's not a big thing. But it made me mad. I don't live there. Why? Because that's how they work. That's how they work. They will try to just squeeze every dollar they can out of you, whether you're a resident or not. And when you go there, the taxes you have to pay on everything you're buying anyway, with the money that's already been taxed. And Mamdani is so proud of his policy that he's going to raise corporate taxes from somewhere in the range of 7 and change percent, 7 point something percent, to what Jersey's doing, 11 point something percent. I don't know what the points are, but 7 to 11% on corporate taxes. Because Jersey's doing, and his idea is like, well, Jersey's doing it, so we're just going to bring you to the Jersey level. Do you understand the difference in the cost of running a business in New York City from Jersey? There's a huge difference. The people that open a business in Jersey, yeah, they're taxed a lot more, but every other bill they have to pay every month is way cheaper than a business running in New York City. But he's just like, hey, Jersey's there. Oh, are you going to lower the rents? I mean, on businesses. No, not on welfare recipients and bums and EBT. Oh, you'll stack them up in government-run hovels for $200 a month. But the businesses, what they pay per square foot of space in New York City, and now you're going to rake them over the coals with New Jersey's tax rate on businesses. The electric bills, the utilities, everything you pay in New York City is through the roof. And to raise the taxes to the Jersey level of 11 point something in taxes, and that, by the way, is his answer to how he's going to fund free buses. Listen to this. Mamdani talking about his free busing in New York. What a freak show that's going to be.
But the question is how you'll make them free.
We will fund the revenue that would have otherwise been brought in from fares. And that's something that we would do in partnership with Albany. And I've put forward two proposals. The first is to raise taxes on the top 1% of New Yorkers by 2%. That would raise $4 billion. The second is to raise the state's top corporate tax rate to match that of New Jersey, which would raise $5 billion.
We're going to $4 billion from private citizens. You know, those rich New Yorkers that make $1 million a year. You know, I don't want to sound like an elitist here, but truth be told, if you live in New York City, $1 million is not rich. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. But, you know, these are people you need. You need them in your city. And he will chase them out. Hell, I got chased out. And I'm, you know, I'll stay in a pretty conflicted relationship for quite some time, as people know. And then businesses, like I said, taxing businesses. And this will raise billions of dollars so that he can have these rolling homeless shelters called MTA buses. Rolling, heated, and air-conditioned homeless centers. Because that's what these buses will turn into. And if you think the NYPD, an NYPD run by Zohran Mamdani, is going to crack down on homeless, violent mental patients that are now using the buses as shelters to get heat in the winter and air conditioning in the summer, and billions of dollars will be spent doing this, dollars that have been taken from corporations in New York City and private citizens that are so wealthy. Even his campaign promises are terrible and dangerous. Usually they lie on the campaign promise to get elected. And now you look at this guy and go, oh my God, these are terrible policies. But there he is, you know. He will do this if he can. I don't know the ins and outs of being the mayor of New York. And I don't know what he actually has the power to do by himself without having to have city council and a lot of other people back him and sign off on these things. But from what I've seen of New York City Council and other New York politicians, I think this guy will have free reign to really screw New York up. We saw de Blasio do it. What did he have to do? What hoops did he have to jump through to convince the other people in New York City politics to put his policies in place? So good luck to you. Good luck. I'll be coming up. I'll be checking on you. I'll come up and go, you okay? Pat you on the head. What's up? How you doing? And then I'll look around and go, holy mother of God, this is a disaster. All right. Phone calls coming up and a little more. I got a couple of more Mamdani things. And then what else do we got here? Oh, celebrities. We got a little De Niro, Martin Sheen. Yeah, we'll be back in moments. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This episode is brought to you by Battlefield 6. Battlefield 6 is the ultimate all-out warfare experience. Rip through the skies in aerial dogfights. Demolish your surroundings for a strategic advantage. Harness complete control over every action and movement using the kinesthetic combat system. Drop into multiplayer with your squad, or fight furiously as a member of the Dagger 1-3 squad in a gritty, adrenaline-fueled single-player campaign where you'll defend a world on the edge of collapse.
This episode is brought to you by CBS. DMV is a brand new workplace comedy turning misery into magic and chaos into comedy. Starring Harriet Dyer and Tim Meadows, DMV is here to serve you laughs. Watch Mondays at 8:30, 7:30 Central on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
This episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. Psst, healthcare pros. Word's out, and it's too good to keep quiet. Look, LinkedIn is revolutionizing job hunting, making it possible to search by specialty, shift preference, and salary. Endless scrolling is out. Whether it's a mental health therapist or dental hygienist, finding the perfect role is faster and easier than ever. Head to linkedin.com/healthcare and start your search today.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. Kind of sympathizing, but also waving my finger at New York City and its residents. You put yourself in this position. I don't know how New York City got this way. It seems years ago, you didn't look at a Republican candidate and just go, oh, there's no way he's getting in. And we saw what happened. A lot of times the Democrats screw up so badly that the voting public, and this isn't just New York City, it's everywhere, goes, oh, yeah, we can't do that again. And the other way around, it works the other way around, too. The voters are very fickle. And, look at Jimmy Carter pretty much put Ronald Reagan into office. And Nixon and Gerald Ford pretty much put Jimmy Carter into office. So it just goes that way. A lot of times people get sick and tired of the missteps and screw-ups of an administration, and they go with another party. And when you look at Zohran Mamdani, I mean, who are we coming off of? Adams? Who came off of de Blasio? Who came off of Bloomberg? Bloomberg was technically an independent, but he was more Democrat, but he was a business guy. So he wasn't completely destroying New York, but a lot of his policies, stopping the stop and frisk, things like that, really started the, rot of New York. He was good with business. It was still a great place for tourism and whatnot. But between de Blasio and Adams, you would think New York City would be crying, please, can we get a Republican in here to balance out this garbage, whatever's been happening for the past two mayors? And Zohran Mamdani is your answer? Are you just suicidal at this point? Will you just look and you saw what de Blasio and Adams had done in New York City and just went, screw it, blow the whole thing up? Because that really seems like what's happening. And it's very disheartening to Republicans to think that there's never, ever going to be a Republican mayor in New York again. Governor is the same thing. We think, what happened? Will we ever see a Republican governor in New York State? Yeah, Lee Zeldin. You had the opportunity to elect Lee Zeldin. You put Kathy Hochul in there for a whole term? She took over for dumb Andrew Cuomo, who's your go-to Democrat guy. What is wrong with you, New York State? Oh, my God, you need therapy. You need therapy. Joaquin from PA, what's up, man?
Hey, good evening, Anthony.
Boy.
I got to tell you, I'm on the same page as far as, Cuomo goes.
Yep.
It really annoys me that everybody puts him on the pedestal now of being the knight in shining armor, riding on a white horse to New York's emotional rescue.
Yeah. He's the savior.
And, here's the problem that we're up against, and unfortunately, I have a very bleak outlook for things because, unfortunately, when you look at these protests, okay, unfortunately, there's when you consider military maneuver, morale and battle and things like that, and as people watch and our side, there really is not much media at all. And I had a conversation with one of my oldest best friends, since I was a child today. He lives on Long Island in Pennsylvania. And he had texted me about he was a little disappointed. He voted for Trump supporter, and he said he was a little bit disappointed that Trump, commuted the sentence of George. Come on, what's the guy's name?
Stephen Miller.
Yeah, no, George Santos.
Oh, Santos. Okay.
Yeah, and
Santos.
Said,
yeah, what am I saying, Stephen Miller?
Yeah, so I kind of explained that to him, but then also too, he was, of course, being in New York, he's worried about the government shutdown affecting, the Medicaid and Medicare systems because he's a retired guy, And I said, you have to understand something. I said, this is all being misrepresented. This is the only way to stop. New York's Medicaid system is going to collapse because of all the illegal immigrants that they've allowed in there that they want to pay for. And so now basically the Trump administration, Republicans are coming down hardline saying, no, the rest of the country is not going to pay for all these illegal migrants, in all these sanctuary states and cities.
Yeah, yeah.
And so many people on our side, unfortunately, they just aren't getting, unless you go looking for information, it's not just there. You turn on the TV.
No, it's not on the surface anymore. You got to dig. You got to do some research. And, even then, you got to kind of use some of your own common sense to weed out the nonsense.
Yeah, and again, it takes Fox. I mean, Fox in many ways has been co-opted by, the Rupert, the murder.
Oh, yeah. No, I've been done with Fox so long. Joaquin, it's so funny when people go, oh, really? What do you watch, faux news? Are you a Fox News guy? It's like, dude, if you had any sense, any clue as to what's going on in the world, you'd realize no one that used to watch Fox News watches Fox News and thinks it's some credible news source anymore.
Exactly. But, where do we turn? I mean, I have another friend that I got him. He starts listening to WABC on a regular basis, and he likes listening to you Sunday night, my buddy.
Hey, thank you.
On the call in. And, and the thing of it is unless people really realize it, we're at a point right now, if the Democrats ever take over again, God forbid, there's going to be black cars coming for a lot of people.
Yeah. Oh, I know. They really go for that retribution thing. They think Trump does it, but they are really big on retribution. Joaquin, thanks, man. I got to move on. We'll take a quick break. And let's see. Mamdani, he wants to know, people want to know why a 33-time arrested killer was out on the street. I would want to know that if this guy's running for mayor. Back in moments. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show. And just scrolling through X, and I appreciate everybody that's listening and commenting on X and downloading the app and listening live. I do really appreciate that. Very cool. Very cool indeed. There was one more thing from the last hour I wanted. Oh, the Mamdani. Yeah. Zohran Mamdani. Here's another question he was asked. Of course, he is going to be your mayor. I hate having to say that. I love Curtis. Cuomo, ugh. Wouldn't it be ironic to tell him to jump off a bridge and then he uses the Mario Cuomo bridge? I wouldn't want that. Trust me. But it would just be one of those very ironic things. Mamdani, he is asked, why? Now, this seems like a pretty reasonable question. Why would a 33-time arrested killer, they didn't kill 33 times, but he wound up killing after he was arrested 33 times and was out on the street. Why did this happen? What is he going to do about this as mayor? And, of course, does he answer it? Well, why would he? Zohran? Oh, Mamdani asked why a 33-time arrested killer was out on the streets. You don't have that? Is it? That's a good one, the prostitution one. But, wow, isn't that something? Every week I have one clip that I thought I sent, and I didn't send it. But that's very strange. Anyway, well, he doesn't answer that question. All he does is talk about how he is the mayor to keep New Yorkers safe and get justice for people. You know, like you put somebody in prison and they're violent and crazy, and maybe you don't want them out on the streets of your city. But no, he's like, we need this justice. Meanwhile, by justice, they don't mean justice. They mean, usual suspects, let's let them just run wild out on the streets. And this guy had been arrested 33 times. And he was out there, and he winds up killing someone else. And does Zohran Mamdani even give an inkling that he would do something about this? If New Yorkers think for a second that the no bail, low bail thing is going away, you're crazy. You read the stories every day. You take the subways and public transportation. You walk down the sidewalks. And you can vote for a guy who is going to do absolutely nothing to make you safer by keeping violent criminals in jail, at least till their trial with bail. They just let these people out. And by the way, it's time and time again. They let them out. They get arrested again. They let them out again and again. Oh, no bail. Sorry. Well, why is that? Well, we're restricted to the law, which says we cannot put bail on this person. Well, whose responsibility is that? And why are they still in office? Do you see why us normal people, us rational people who have fled New York State get so frustrated and wonder how you continue voting for these people that they really do seem to want you to get hurt. They want you in danger. I don't know how else a rational person could see that, but they want you to get hurt. I don't know. Yeah, there was the prostitution thing. Hey, when all else fails, let's go to the prostitutes. This is Zohran Mamdani. He's being asked because there's been a little controversy. Does he want prostitution to be legal or not? And he has said time and time again that he does not want prostitution to be illegal. He wants it legalized. He doesn't want prostitutes to be arrested. And while that's a weird kind of thing, like I can understand in some way you don't want to be punishing these dopey girls because most of them, it's not like the movies, you know. I'm just doing this to work my way through college because I'm such a genius. Or, I'm just doing this until I find the right man to marry. And it's Julia Roberts or, some other gorgeous actress of the day. Prostitutes are some of the most damaged people you'll ever see. They're mentally ill. They've probably lived through some childhood trauma that they cannot get past. They can't fit into the way the world works, and they really are kind of the victim of the life they feel necessary to go into. And the ones that really make profit off of this are the pimps. The pimps, these are guys. If you see a girl standing on the street selling herself, she's not an independent contractor. Oh, if this wasn't regular radio, I would say I would turn contractor into another word by changing one letter. Independent. I never thought of that one. That's kind of funny. Okay, she's not an independent contractor. It's a pimp. Pimps are the ones that make the money. And then they give them this pittance for food, barely any, mostly drugs. They give them a flop house to live in. So it's not a victimless crime. And Mamdani wants this industry to be legal. How are you going to legalize it when the victimization of these girls goes hand in hand with prostitution? They don't work alone. They can't handle another movie thing. Well, aren't you afraid that a pimp is going to come for you? I can handle myself. The tough girl. Yeah, handle yourself. Go ahead. Movies have people so deluded into what the real deal is in life. So here's Zohran. He's talking about prostitution. Prosecution of prostitution. Let's listen.
And to follow the advice of district attorneys that we have here in New York City, the current Manhattan DA, the former Manhattan DA, the current Brooklyn DA, the former Manhattan DA having said that prosecuting women for prostitution is something that actually leads to less safety. And what we need to do is provide an economy
Mr. Mamdani,
of opportunity.
Just a quick clarification. So no legalization. How about decriminalization?
I do not think that we should be prosecuting women who are struggling, who are currently being thrown in jail, and then being offered job opportunities. I think we should be actually providing those kinds of opportunities at the first point of interaction.
At the first point of interaction, which is the arrest, by the way, I can almost understand some type of program, and they have these, and they've had them for years. There are people that go around, or at least there were, back in what I like to call the day. There were people that went around, social workers or just volunteers, and believe me, it's not hard to spot a prostitute on the street. Just ask Jim Norton. And you find them, you ask them a few questions, you find out what their life is like, where they're staying, and you try to help them. These people, for the most part, like any other, I would call this an addiction, but it's almost an addiction to having to live their lives, and they don't want help. They just, this is the only way they can imagine they're going to make a living is selling their bodies. What did Mamdani just call it? Some kind of an economy, some way to get people jobs so they don't have to do prostitution, but not throwing them in jail for being prostitutes. What else are they going to do, Zohran? They're prostitutes. They've already looked at every other opportunity economy. That's what he said. Every other opportunity, and they're not mentally cut out to have a real job. They're mentally ill people. This is something I think that really has to be understood by people like Mamdani or anyone else that wants to be a mayor or leader. You are giving people much too much credit. They are mentally ill and need to be treated as such. Prostitutes aren't movie prostitutes. It's not Pretty Woman. You're not going to end up with a wonderful rich man, Richard Gere, and take care of his gerbil. Make him have a trail for his favorite gerbil, and he'll fall in love with you. It doesn't happen that way. These women usually end up dying from drug overdoses, being murdered, or just rotting away on the streets. But Zohran thinks that there's an opportunity economy, some way that will employ everyone, regardless of how mentally ill they are or physically sick that they are. So you take away the arresting of the prostitutes. Now the police can't go out and arrest a prostitute, take them back to the precinct, get information, and then maybe have some type of program in place that can sort them out and help them out. Maybe see if they have family somewhere. And like I said, I know these programs do exist right now. But what he's saying is, he thinks you could give anyone a job. Thinks anyone, and just give them a job and everything's fine. Walk around New York. You tell me if these homeless people and mental patients and prostitutes are the way they are just because they couldn't get a job. It's insane. And again, it's one of his programs that it's a camouflage for something else, for socialism and for, zero accountability, letting people do whatever they want, no law enforcement. That's what he's all about. He's not about helping people. Trust me. Trust me. I don't lie to you. Back in a matter of seconds. Stick around for more of the Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The Anthony Cumia Show, and just scrolling a little more during the break on X. And look, New York, I've been pounding you for a while now about your horrible decisions, but every so often something really funny comes out of New York news. This one out of Westchester, a prisoner shot an inmate in a van. They were transporting prisoners in a van, and we've all seen movies where they frisk the inmates, they shackle them. There's 4 or 5 of them. They handcuff them to rings in the van. And, it's sort of a minivan Con Air kind of a situation. Well, the cops are driving the van with these prisoners in the back, and they hear a gunshot, and they hear one of the guys go, "I've been shot." And they come around, and apparently one of these prisoners had a .22 caliber, small round, but still very deadly. He had shot him in the leg, and he had a gun in his hand. And there's a lot of questions now over there in Westchester as to how this guy was able to smuggle a firearm, a pistol, into that van, knowing damn well they are frisked before they go in. Well, if you're thinking about it, if you're trying to guess where he stashed this pistol away, I'll just say you're right. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. So, I don't know. I know .22s are a small caliber, but the pistols themselves, unless it's a Derringer maybe, a little pistol like was used on Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if John Wilkes Booth hid his pistol the same way to get into Ford's Theater that fateful evening. But, you got to start checking these people with scanners. A simple frisk, I don't think is enough when they are completely ready, willing, and able to hide some of the most inconvenient items in some places that normal people would deem painful, uncomfortable. Yeah. So there you go, Westchester. Maybe a scanner at the jailhouse that uses X-rays and metal detection would be a little better than a simple frisk. So, wow. A .22 caliber pistol. Here's a couple of things. Ohio, in the state of Ohio, they're trying to pass legislation that will take control of your thermostat. This is a very Orwellian story here. Imagine this. Imagine, if you will, submit it for your approval on the Twilight Zone. Ohio wants to give the power company or the government, the power company through the government, power because they have, it's hot in the summer and a lot of people turn on their air conditioning units and it gets, it's a big drain on the power supply, right? We all know that, big drain on the power supply. So what they want to do is be able to cut down on your power consumption. And they'll start with the thermostat on your AC unit. And there are people willing to sign up for this. And it was a voluntary program. But when you get states or cities that want to legislate this. And this, by the way, when you put smart thermostats and smart lighting into your house, and I've said this for years, anyone that's listened to all of the various shows that I've had over the course of the years, I've always said to be very suspect of convenience. Every single thing that will be later be used to screw you over will be submitted to you initially as an amazing convenience in your life. Old sci-fi movies and documentaries and all these people that speculated what the future might look like, it was very intrusive government-wise. And people would say, well, I wouldn't do that. I'm not going to open my door for a government orb. This thing comes to your door. Citizen, open the door. The government wants to see what your home looks like. And you'd be, I wouldn't do that. I'd shoot it with my shotgun. We'd all get together and fight the government that would be so intrusive in our lives. Well, they're not stupid. They know that this would be something that people wouldn't put up with. So the technology needed to bug you, to get in your britches, as they say, has to be presented to Americans as something convenient, makes your life better, something you can't live without. Oh, you want an example? Leave your house and forget your phone on your dining room table. How far away from your house, how close to your destination do you have to be before you won't turn around and get your phone? Doesn't matter. You're turning around to getting your phone. It's your life. It's your convenience. And it's everything you need for information, for phone calls, for texts, for whatever. You can't do your job without your phone. And that's where we're at. So it's always presented as a convenience. So smart home, this is great. I get thermostats and light switches, and I power my furnace and my gates in my yard. Everything is a smart something. And it's smart. It's great. How could something smart be bad? And it's turning on my lights. Look, I'm on vacation, and I could set my sprinklers, and my lights go on and off, and my locks. I can let someone in my house to clean up, and then they can leave. And it's all great, isn't it? Until a state like Ohio starts legislating to turn your thermostat down because you're using too much power. And then you go, well, wait a minute, this is intrusive. Well, you put the logistics in place. You put the infrastructure in place in order for the government to do that. Oh, you can rip it out. Get yourself an old Honeywell thermostat like your dad used to yell at you for touching. You could do that again. But, it was so convenient. I didn't have to go every day and turn the dial. It just knew what the temperature was, and it would do it, and the bedroom's different. So we wind up having to sacrifice this amazing technological convenience for our own privacy and our own autonomy. So the government can't just say, yeah, you're using too much energy. And that's really what it's all about, is tracking your carbon footprint and how much energy are you using. And now, because it's not just let's screw you over, it's let's screw you over financially. Well, you're using, well, I pay electric bill. Yeah, but you got to pay a carbon footprint bill now, because what we're seeing from your smart devices is that you're using way too much power. And, this is already has precedence. We've seen this in other things. Those insurance companies that put in the little device, the safe driving device. Oh, yeah, at Progressive, we give you a safe driver discount. Just put this in your car, and if you're safe, we'll lower your rates. Well, what if I'm not safe? Well, then we'll raise the hell out of your rates. Look at this guy. He stops short at every light. He speeds. It will always be presented as convenience. And it's hard to resist. It really is. We're technophiles. We love it. But, keep your eyes open. Back in a flash.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Yes, it is the Anthony Cumia Show, and this is Brian from Bayside. What's up, Brian?
Hey, good evening, Anthony.
Good evening.
Long-time listener. Anyway, LIPA used to put in those thermostats where they used to control the condenser outside.
Long Island Power Authority, yeah.
We get 1 million phone calls. Oh, my air conditioner doesn't work. I was like, well, you have the LIPA thermostat.
Yes.
And I can't tell you how many times rip that thing off my wall.
Yeah.
Bypass whatever you got to bypass and get that stupid thing out of my house.
It's been happening for a while. Back when LIPA was doing it, the technology for smart thermostats and other electric devices wasn't really there. So they had to do it a lot more covertly and a lot more nefarious. Like that was just meant, hey, we're going to cut your AC off if we start having problems supplying enough power to Long Island. So
can I tell you what they do now?
It was more like the nerve of you bastards. Now they're able to hijack your smart devices and use them against you. That's right, Brian. Exactly. Let's go to Matt. Matt's been on a while. Matt, Bronx, what's up, my friend?
Hey, good evening, Anthony.
Good evening.
I'd like to talk. Yeah, I'd like to actually first start off by recommending something I frequently do. Can't get enough of the book. Yes, it's The Culture of Critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald. If you want to know what's going on with all the Marxist nonsense, the CRT nonsense, the mass immigration movement, which is a Marxist left-wing political agenda, opening the
I
borders
recommend
to the third world.
book, The Big Mac by Dr. Ronald McDonald. Very compelling, delicious book. But go ahead, Matt.
Funny as always. So, yeah, but in addition, again, all these left-wing ideologies that our children are being brainwashed by, your tax dollars going to the public schools, all the sick ideology out there coming from the left. I really suggest The Culture of Critique by Dr. Kevin McDonald. So now on to one topic that one of your callers brought up. Joaquin, I believe his name is.
Well, who's that?
Joaquin.
Oh, yeah, Joaquin from PA. Yep.
Yes, and he actually brought up a very critical issue, and that is that in light of the fact that the mass media is thoroughly controlled by the left, and they do everything in their power to suppress narratives and information that do not fit their agenda, where, in fact, do you go to get alternatives that are accurate and objective? So two things. Number one, Joaquin, there is a plethora. There's an absolute
Plethora's my sister's name. Thank you. Go ahead, Matt. I'm sorry.
There's an absolute plethora of websites that are very run by astute, sapient people that are not only conservatives but also objective in reporting. Just to give you one of them is UNZ, UNZ.
Well, again, Matt, I don't know. In order to protect myself and this very station, I cannot condone or endorse any websites given out by any of the callers of the show without first having gone over them myself. But thank you, Matt. I do appreciate it. I just can't do it. It's, part of the radio thing. Now, on my internet show, you could call up and tell everyone how to build an atomic bomb on my show. And I'll be right there with you turning a wrench. I swear. We got to go talk about some celebrities, don't we? We got to talk about celebrities. They are always at the forefront of logical, reasonable thought, aren't they? All the usual suspects. I'm stunned that Hollywood is a place full of people of the same exact ideology. Like, again, they're actors, which is kind of odd because it's like they're following a script. Like they have a script and they're reading it. A writer gave them a script, and there are plenty of theories on this. You could, pick one, choose one that you like. But it's the strangest thing that they're all of the same mindset out there in that gaping hole that is Hollywood. So Martin Sheen knows he played a president on The West Wing. So who better to know exactly how a president should operate, whether they're doing a good job or a bad job, than someone who made believe he was a president with words that were given to him by a totally different team of people. Now, Martin Sheen, see, he would know. Saigon. I can't believe I'm still in Saigon. That's my Martin Sheen. Thank you. Here he is trashing Donald Trump. Martin, if you will.
So the big guy in the White House, if he would take some personal advice, you've got to realize, sir, that you are the biggest nothing in the world. And sir, you stop there. You stop listening to all these people around you, these sycophants, who are encouraging you to be your non-human self. Get in touch with that humanity. Stop fussing with your hair. And don't worry about your tie. And stand up straight and speak clearly, not from your throat. Speak from your heart. And start being human. That's what you were made for, not golf. So there you are, Mr. President. With all due respect, sir.
Yay! Yay, Martin Sheen, fake president guy. And yeah, Martin Sheen could say that. Look at this guy. Great head of hair. Him and his dopey 2 kids. Great heads of hair on those Sheen and Estevez kids. Again, they can't fathom that over half the country voting population, over half the voting population of this country voted for Trump. He won the popular vote. He won every swing state to get the electoral vote. And they want to talk like, he somehow got in with 3 people that voted for him. No, Martin Sheen. He didn't. He got in with a mandate. Mandate? That sounds homo. That sounds homosexual. No, a mandate, Martin Sheen. And then, of course, our favorite, Robert De Niro. Oh, does a day or a week maybe go by where you don't see Robert De Niro further trash his unbelievable legacy of great movies and acting and entertainment with some dumb, blurted out bull that he feels so compelled to say when he's out in public? Bobby De Niro, as my good friend Jim Norton calls him. Bobby De Niro. Here he is once again trashing Trump.
He will not. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his. I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet. Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Wow. Slander much? Defamation much? He just called Stephen Miller a Nazi, and they goes, yes, he's a Nazi. How does that qualify? And I understand the whole thing with public figures. You're a public figure. You're a politician. If the criteria for defaming someone or slandering someone wasn't kept to a very high standard as far as public figures go, especially politicians, there'd be cases every single second of every day. So I get that. There's something called parody, which is protected under the First Amendment. And if something's parodied, it's very, very difficult to prove that you were defamed or slandered in that parody. But I mean, that's blatant. De Niro's just saying the guy's a Nazi. What? Is it that saying someone's a Nazi in and of itself is so hard to define? Like, oh, because believe me, I've been called a Nazi. Plenty of people I know have been called Nazis. Adolf Hitler, Himmler, they've all been called I see the difference there. But De Niro, like, calling Stephen Miller a Nazi like that, I think he should probably seek legal counsel and try to get a few bucks out of De Niro. Get some of that casino money. But, you know, again, just another guy. And it really is a credit to De Niro's work that people still watch his movies. And the ensemble cast thing helps, you know, Joe Pesci and the rest of the cast of characters in movies like Goodfellas and Casino. But he's really getting close. He's really treading on thin ice here when it comes to people just going, no, screw him. I can't even look at him anymore and be entertained. I think he just made it to be grandfathered in, where he could be a complete jackass and you'll still watch his movies. Nothing new, by the way. Nothing he does now I would want to even take a passing glance at. No one really cares about what De Niro's doing today, but he's really close to completely destroying his amazing legacy as a great actor in some of the greatest movies ever made. So keep it up. Keep it up. Maybe Miller will sue you for defamation. I don't know. Can you call someone a Nazi like that? So absolute, so without comedy or parody or any type of irony, you're just calling him a Nazi on a very big platform. You're a very big voice. So I don't know. That's something right there. Good luck. Good luck to you, Bobby D. The hell else we got here? Oh, Canada. Here's another kind of a thing. This isn't so much on the level of the thermostats being controlled by the state, but this is kind of weird. Canada Air, is that an airliner? They actually want to have you pay to recline your seat. This is insane. I've gotten into so many arguments with people. My good buddy Gavin McInnes, he believes that you should not put your seat back on a plane. We should all sit there at a 90-degree angle to our thighs and take the pain. Take the pain. When the airline itself has made the seats with the ability to recline. Why wouldn't I use it as a convenience or to the person behind me? Well, their seat goes back. Let's all feel bad for the guy in 32A, but his seat butted right against the bathroom in the back of the plane. That last seat goes back, and he's like, well, I'm screwed. Well, now you know. Book your flight a little earlier. Maybe a little first class. Maybe a little comfort class. But if you're getting the last seat on a plane, and like dominoes, all those seats fall backwards, and you're the last one that has to have the tray in your gut, sorry. So be it. I'm not being uncomfortable my entire flight because the poor guy in the last row of the plane. So I don't know how this works. Let's listen. I think there's sound to this clip where Canada Air, they want you to pay to recline your seat.
Well, if you want to recline on your flight, you might have to pay for it. Canadian airline WestJet says it's removing reclining seats in standard economy as it rolls out its new Boeing fleet. 43 planes will be reconfigured and phased in over the next year.
It's the high-flying debate that can cause cabin pressures to rise.
It's totally okay to recline your seat. That's what it's there for.
To recline or not to recline, on average, it's only 2 to 3 inches here.
I think that you should be able to recline your seat on a 10-hour flight. I told her, I was like, if you want to be comfy, get first class.
But for some, there's no question. But now airlines like Canada's WestJet are making it a financial decision, rolling out reconfigured planes starting this month with standard economy seats that don't allow you to push back and relax. If you do want to recline, now it'll cost you.
Airlines are figuring out how to segment pricing all across the board. And if you want a little extra comfort, you're going to pay for it. That's what they're saying to everyone.
The changes will roll out on 43 WestJet planes with standard economy seats featuring a, quote, fixed recline design. The airline saying it will help preserve personal space. Extended comfort and premium seats that do recline are also available if you pay more. WestJet bright-siding, calling this an investment in, quote, guest experience, saying the cabin has been thoughtfully designed to offer WestJet's welcoming service at every budget. But flight attendants are bracing for a bumpy flight.
We have been saying for almost 60 years, sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. And now people are going to come with that expectation and not be able to do that. And every time that happens, we usually have to deal with conflict on board.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Did you hear that? And again, the way they word things, fixed recline. It's not fixed recline. It's fixed sit up. They didn't recline the seat and then lock it in place. So every time you sit there, you're lounging back and reclined. No, they keep it to where no one's able to recline. And if you want to, you better get first class, or maybe they'll have some kind of a comfort class. But that is amazing. And here's another reason they're doing it. Let's not be stupid here. Reclining seats, yes, the seat back will infringe on your real estate for the person behind the person reclining. If no one can recline, then they could just maybe move the seats a little closer together. It's not reclining anymore. They have to take that into consideration with spacing the seat. Let's say the guy in row 32 doesn't want to recline, but the guy in row 31 does. Well, we have to space the seats enough to compensate for the guy reclining. We don't want the seat right in the guy's face. So if no one can recline, they could push those seats together. And what does that make? Yes, enough room for another non-reclining seat. It's all to rip you off just a little more. Less comfort. And then the price ends up being the same. They don't discount this. They just go, you don't like it? Leave. You don't like it? Find another airline. How about that? So, what a screw move that is. And then they're using the don't recline debate to jack the price up or keep the price the same, but add more seats to their aircrafts. Oh, God. Oh, am I so pessimistic about life. All right. We will return. Stick around.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. It's the Anthony Cumia Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of whipping out free speech, every Wednesday or Thursday, is it? Probably Thursday. I put out a 15-minute podcast, a little edgier than this. Look out. A little, the language is a little saltier, but you could get that at the on YouTube at the 77 WABC Radio YouTube channel. So check that out. It's been getting a great response, and thank you. Thanks to the people. The Super Bowl, I have been, I am in the no care zone about any professional sport right now. It isn't so much politically motivated. You know, some of this is like, oh, you see, they put up, end racism in the end zone, so I'm not going to watch and stuff. I'm just bored. I'm bored with it, all right? All right, look, I'm bored with it. It's just, there's nothing going on in professional sports really making me go, oh, I got to watch this. So some of the nonsense going on is kind of fun to follow. And one such thing is the Super Bowl halftime show. I've talked about this before. Jay-Z has a company. Jay-Z and Beyonce, they are billionaires. And all they do is talk about how horrible and oppressive and racist America is, systemically racist. How do you become a billionaire in a systemically racist country if you're one of the marginalized people on the... I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even talking about that. What I'm talking about is the halftime show and the fact that Jay-Z runs a company that does the booking for the halftime show. And since he took over the booking in 2019, there was a white band that played. Every year since, there has been a person of color that has done the halftime show. I don't think Jay-Z ever wants another white person to do the halftime show, but that's just me. People call me racist all the time, but I'm just saying, hey, remember Oscars too white? And then all of a sudden, they had to start giving Academy Awards and changing the rules to the Academy Awards to keeping marginalized people in the loop and letting ethnic minorities have more of a chance of winning Oscars. Well, I think we're going to get to that point with the Super Bowl halftime show because Jay-Z refuses to allow anyone but people of color to perform, and he's the guy making the choices. So Bad Bunny, he's your man. He's your guy. This is your halftime show. And again, I look at who I believe would be the P1 viewer of the Super Bowl, the people that demographically would be the people you would assume would watch the Super Bowl. And I think it's a lot of blue-collar American guys. Football, we'll sit there, we'll get our chips and salsa and beers and watch the Super Bowl. So to have these minority artists that, the word minority in and of itself means it's not the bulk of the people. The majority of people watching football are not in line with the minority of people that are performing at the Super Bowl. And again, personally, I don't really care. I don't usually watch the halftime show, and I really don't care about it. But as a point of conversation and as a point to show kind of how screwed up things are in this country and how somehow Jay-Z has taken command of what people will watch on the halftime show at the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny is your guy. He is, I don't even know. Colombian? Puerto Rican? I think he's Puerto Rican. But who cares? Who cares? We're a diverse, amazing country. The Statue of Liberty says, give us your tired and your something else, if you listened earlier in the program. But Bad Bunny, this is going to be your entertainment. He did SNL recently, and he did his monologue in Espanol. And he said, if you don't understand that, you better learn Spanish before the Super Bowl, because then you'll just be sitting there like an idiot who doesn't know what the likes of Bad Bunny is saying. Imagine that, watching the Super Bowl, and then you get to the halftime show and Bad Bunny is speaking. You're like, oh, no, I don't know what Bad Bunny is saying. Oh, what a speed bump in your life that would be. Well, let's listen to Bad Bunny isolated vocals. This is Bad Bunny without any music. They isolated his vocals. Let's see what a scary talent Bad Bunny is. Bad Bunny.
Es que no lo ve nada porque no lo mate. Hola, hola,
hola. That's your guy. Out of anybody they could have picked to do the halftime show, Super Bowl, Jay-Z and company decided that was your guy. Sounds like Eddie Murphy in Trading Places. Jerky? Jerky? Yeah, that's your scary, talented, Bad Bunny. All right, people. We'll see you back here next week. Thank you for tuning in. Remember, Anthony Cumia on X for all your Anthony Cumia needs. And have a great rest of your evening. Mañana.
Thanks for listening to the Anthony Cumia Show. You can hear the Anthony Cumia Show Sunday nights at 8. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Everyone loves when I talk about our good friend Steven Singer. Hey, it's Anthony Cumia here. I've been telling you about Steven, the I Hate Steven Singer guy, for decades. If you haven't heard yet, Steven Singer Jewelers was named one of America's leading jewelers. There are almost 18,000 jewelers in America, and less than 50 jewelers have received this wonderful honor. Just another reason why other jewelers hate him. They hate Steven Singer. Steven's a jeweler you can trust. He has the best guarantees, the best warranties, and all at the perfect price 365 days a year. Steven always has the best value on real diamond jewelry. No phony sales, no fake discounts or pricing games, no nonsense ever. Just easy and fun. That's why he's considered one of the most trusted jewelers in America. No one does diamonds better. Experience the difference at Steven Singer Jewelers. Online at IHateStevenSinger.com. That's IHateStevenSinger.com.